All right, so today's deep dive, well, it's a big one. The Alchemist, and we're not just like, scratching the surface here.
Nope. Full-on audiobook creation this time.
Right, like taking Coelho's words
Yep.
and crafting them into like a full-on listening experience.
Exactly. Nuanced tone emotion, the whole 9 yards. It's a challenge for sure, but exciting one.
Okay, so let's set the scene. You're settled in, headphones on, ready to be transported to the world of Santiago.
This Andalusian shepherd who keeps having this recurring dream about treasure buried near the pyramids.
And this dream, it's not just some random thing, it's like this catalyst, for his whole journey towards his personal legend.
That unique purpose we all have, just waiting to be discovered.
Yeah, but Santiago's like, all right, dream's cool, but what does it actually mean? So he goes to this fortune teller.
Hoping for some grand revelation, I bet.
Exactly. And she's basically like, yeah, Egypt treasure. That'll be one sheep, please.
Which seems kind of funny on the surface, but it points to this idea of recognizing the omens.
Those subtle hints the universe drops along the way.
Guiding us toward our purpose.
And sometimes those hints come from the most unexpected sources, like a king you bump into in the town square.
Enter Melchizedek, the king of Salem. Not your everyday encounter.
Yeah, definitely not. He becomes Santiago's first mentor, this wise figure who reveals what he calls the world's greatest lie.
The belief that we're not in control of our own destinies.
It's like he's telling Santiago, hey, you're meant for something bigger than just tending sheep. You've got this treasure calling you.
But pay attention to the signs along the way.
Exactly. And to help him decipher those signs, Melchizedek gives Santiago these divination stones.
Urim and Thummim, ancient decision-making tools used to navigate uncertainty.
So Santiago, feeling all bold and, maybe a little naive, sells his flock, hops on a boat to Tangier, ready for adventure.
And then, boom, robbed blind the moment he steps off the boat.
Classic. Talk about a harsh reality check. But this robbery, it's more than just a setback.
It forces Santiago to confront his fear of failure, to strip away his comfort zone, that shepherd identity he's clung to.
But he's resourceful. He finds work with a crystal merchant. And get this, he uses his shepherding skills to actually boost the business.
Which perfectly illustrates the interconnectedness Coelho weaves throughout the story you see. Past experiences, even those that seem totally unrelated, can become stepping stones to future success.
Totally. And while working at the shop, Santiago keeps hearing this word maktub.
Meaning, it is written.
Right, like accepting fate.
Mm-hmm.
Which feels kind of contradictory to the whole personal legend idea, doesn't it?
It's a paradox, for sure. Coelho isn't advocating for passive acceptance, but rather striking that balance between pursuing your dreams and surrendering to the flow of life.
Trusting that some things are just beyond our control.
Exactly.
Okay, I can see that. So after a year of hard work, Santiago has saved up enough to buy back his sheep and then some.
But those pyramids, they're still calling him.
The pull of his personal legend is still there. That yearning for something more.
He realizes that while he achieved success at the crystal shop, it wasn't truly fulfilling his soul's purpose.
So he decides to join a caravan crossing the Sahara.
Hundreds of people, camels, as far as the eye can see. Quite the change of scenery.
For sure. And it's more than just a change of scenery. It becomes like this microcosm of life's journey.
You encounter diverse characters, challenges, detours. A reminder that the path to our dreams is rarely a straight line.
And speaking of characters, Santiago meets this Englishman obsessed with alchemy.
Hauling around a whole library, desperately seeking the legendary alchemist.
Right. He represents the head, the intellect, seeking knowledge through books and formulas.
While Santiago, guided by his intuition and the omens, represents the heart.
So we've got the head and the heart on this epic adventure together. What happens next? This is where it gets really good.
Well, before we delve into the heart of the desert, let's pause for a moment. Imagine you're listening to this audiobook. What's grabbed your attention so far?
For me, it's that maktub concept. It's like this puzzle. Trying to balance that acceptance with chasing your dreams makes you think,
About your own life, right?
Exactly. Where do you need to push forward and where do you need to just let go? Yeah, like maktub is kind of saying, trust the journey even when it throws you curveballs, which is exactly what happens next, right? The caravan runs into some serious danger.
Yes, those rumors of tribal wars, they become a harsh reality.
Highlighting that unpredictable nature of life, huh? We can't control everything, even when we're diligently following our personal legends.
Exactly. It makes you wonder how you'd react in that situation, facing real danger in the vastness of the desert. Talk about a test of faith.
For sure. And amidst all this chaos, the camel driver emerges as this unlikely source of wisdom.
Remember his simple yet profound philosophy. Eat when it's time to eat. and move along when it's time to move along.
He's not getting all caught up in what might happen. He's just focused on the present moment, you know?
Yeah.
Finding a kind of peace in the uncertainty. It's a pretty powerful lesson.
It really is. He embodies this grounded spirituality, recognizing the hand of God in the everyday and the rhythm of the journey itself.
And finally, after weeks of travel, they reach the oasis. This vibrant haven with date palms wells a sense of community. It's more than just a pit stop, isn't it?
It represents a place of refuge, but also a place of testing. This is where Santiago encounters love, temptation, a deeper understanding of his own heart.
All those essential elements of a good story, right?
Precisely.
And then there's Fatima. Santiago meets her at the well, and it's like instant soul recognition, you know?
That language of the world Coelho keeps hinting at.
Exactly. True love, transcending language barriers, cultural differences. It's a connection on a deeper level.
A meeting of hearts.
But Santiago's on this quest for treasure, for his personal legend. Can he have both? Love and fulfill his purpose? It's a dilemma so many of us face.
It is. And Fatima, wise beyond her years, she encourages Santiago to continue his journey.
She gets it. She understands that his pursuit of his personal legend is a fundamental part of who he is.
It's both heartbreaking and empowering, right? The idea that love shouldn't hold you back, but rather support your growth and evolution.
Beautifully said. And while Santiago's navigating this newfound love, the Englishman is still relentlessly searching for the alchemist.
Determined to unlock those secrets of alchemy.
And he finally finds him right. After all that searching.
He does. But their meeting is unexpectedly simple.
Oh.
The alchemist simply tells him to try to turn lead into gold. No grand reveal, no secret formula.
It's almost anticlimactic, isn't it? You'd think after crossing a desert there'd be a more dramatic payoff.
But there's a deeper lesson here. The alchemist is testing the Englishman's commitment. His willingness to learn through experience, not just through books.
So it's about getting your hands dirty.
Yeah.
Actually doing the thing, not just theorizing about it.
Precisely.
That's a message that applies to so many aspects of life, don't you think?
Absolutely. And Santiago, witnessing this exchange, she realizes that even the most legendary figures are approachable human. It's a humbling realization.
And Santiago is also drawn to this idea of alchemy, this mysterious power to transform one thing into another.
It's like a metaphor for personal growth, wouldn't you say?
Totally. Coelho suggests that we all possess this alchemical potential. The ability to turn lead into gold, to overcome challenges, learn from mistakes, become our best selves.
It's about tapping into that inner power.
Now that's inspiring.
Yeah.
But does Santiago become the alchemist's apprentice? Does he learn the secrets of turning lead into gold? And what about Fatima? So many questions.
We're getting there. But before we reveal the answers, there's a pivotal moment in the story we need to address.
Okay.
A moment that puts Santiago's life in danger and tests his faith in the omens like never before.
Okay, now you've got me on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
We've got to dive into that in part 3. Okay, so we left off with Santiago having this like super intense vision of the oasis being attacked.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a dream, right? It felt like a real premonition.
Yes, and Santiago takes it seriously. He warns the tribal leaders, but they're not easily convinced.
Yeah, I bet they're probably like, prove it, kid.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They challenge him to prove the validity of his vision.
Which is a lot of pressure, right? How do you prove a vision, especially one as dramatic as like an army attacking the oasis?
Well, Santiago has to tap into that language of the world, that interconnectedness we've been talking about.
Right.
He has to become one with the desert itself, listen on a deeper level.
That sounds almost impossible. Like, how do you even begin to do that?
It's about trusting those intuitive nudges, those whispers from the universe. Remember, Santiago's been practicing this language all along.
Yeah.
He understood his sheep connected with the crystal, felt the wind's guidance.
So all those experiences were leading up to this moment, preparing him for this ultimate test.
Exactly. But the stakes are higher than ever. To convince the tribal leaders, Santiago has to literally turn himself into the wind.
Okay, I'm intrigued, but also a bit confused. How does one become the wind? It feels so symbolic.
It is. It's about surrendering to a power greater than himself, accessing a force of nature capable of well-moving mountains.
So does he actually pull it off? I'm dying to know.
He does. It's a breathtaking scene. He connects with the soul of the world, prays with his entire being, and the wind responds. A massive sandstorm engulfs the oasis.
Wow, so the vision was real. The tribal leaders had to believe him after that, right?
They did. They witnessed his power, his connection to something beyond their comprehension. And it's at this point that the alchemist fully trusts Santiago, recognizing him as ready for the final leg of the journey to the pyramids.
But that means leaving Fatima behind, right? After such a profound connection, it must have been incredibly difficult.
It was. But their farewell is filled with an understanding that transcends physical separation. They recognize that true love isn't about possession, but about supporting each other's growth and evolution.
It's bittersweet, but beautiful. So Santiago and the alchemist continue on venturing deeper into the desert. What's it like traveling with this legendary mentor?
It's less about direct instruction and more about subtle guidance. The alchemist encourages Santiago to listen to his heart, to trust his intuition. Remember that line. Wherever your heart is, that is where you'll find your treasure.
Chills. It's a reminder that the real treasure isn't just gold. It's the self-discovery, the wisdom gained along the way.
Precisely. And to illustrate this point, the alchemist even shows Santiago how to turn lead into gold. But it's not presented as a trick or a magic formula.
Right.
It's a demonstration of the power that comes from aligning with the soul of the world.
It's about realizing our full potential, that alchemical transformation we all have within us.
Exactly. But Coelho reminds us that even when we're close to achieving our dreams, there's often one final test, a final hurdle to overcome.
What kind of test? After all that Santiago's been through, what else could possibly stand in his way?
Well, Santiago finally reaches the pyramids, the culmination of his journey. He starts digging for the treasure, only to be attacked, beaten, and robbed. He's left for dead, facing his darkest hour.
Oh no. After all that effort, all that sacrifice to be stripped of everything at the very end. Seems so cruel.
It does. But it's in this moment of utter defeat that Santiago has a profound realization. The treasure wasn't buried where he was digging.
So where was it then? If not at the pyramids, the place his dreams had been pointing him towards all along, where else could it be?
It was within him all along. The journey itself, the lessons learned, the people he encountered, the love he experienced, the transformation he underwent, that was the real treasure.
Wow, that's such a powerful message. It's about recognizing the value of the journey, not just the destination.
And it's a reminder that sometimes the greatest discoveries are made in our moments of greatest despair.
So what happens to Santiago? Does he make it back to Fatima? Does he ever see that treasure again?
He does return to Fatima, richer not just in wisdom and experience, but ironically also in material wealth. He finds gold at the very spot where he was beaten, a final twist of fate.
It's a beautiful, full circle ending.
Yeah.
Santiago's journey is a testament to the transformative power of following your dreams, even when the path is uncertain and filled with obstacles.
And as we conclude this deep dive, let's bring it back to you, the listener. What is it that you truly desire? What steps can you take today to move closer to your own personal legend? Remember, when you want something, all the universe conspires to help you achieve it.
Powerful words to end on. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.